Hey everybody, this is Phil from the Pro Wrestling Fans Podcast. I'm just doing my very first book review for you guys. I recently finished reading Ring of Hell, the story of Chris Benoit and the fall of the pro wrestling industry by Matthew Randazzo V. I checked it out from my local library, and I recommend you support your local library. Let's see. I would say the book was well written and well researched. I'll give him that. The bibliography cites 22 different book sources, 16 websites, 2 newsletters, and 38 interviews conducted by the author. So very well researched. One note: there's a few footnotes for where such information came from. They're very sporadic. I would like to see more, but that's me. I mean, it's okay. That's just me being a stickler. Sorry I'm saying so many times. We get a glimpse of what Benoit's life was like when he was young, when he started training, first from the Hearts in the dungeon, to New Japan, the dojo, to his time in Mexico with Lucha Libre International, to his time in ECW, then WCW, and what life was like when Hulk Hogan was in charge, basically in charge. Kevin Sullivan doing the booking, which he gets into Benoit's relationship with Sullivan and Nancy, woman, leading to their divorce and her marriage to Benoit. Whew. We get a detailed glimpse of how Owen Hart's death affected Benoit. And we find out that Benoit and Owen Hart were really close for many, many years. And of course, someone really close to you dying is going to have a really, really bad effect on you. Fast forward to Eddie Guerrero's death, same situation. A really close friend dying way too soon. Now, all in all, I'd say I like the book a lot. I was able to put it down for a couple days after my initial reaction to it of some of the things the author wrote and the tone from the beginning of the book. It just started off a lot of angst. It just comes off as the author does not like wrestling at all. But later you get a feeling of it's not personal, that it's more like the industry does a lot of negatives to a lot of people. Okay, so I mean that's what I picked up on it. So I recommend reading it for yourself and getting your own opinion on it. This is just my opinion. Let's see. Two just minor things that stuck out in my brain. The author mentions during Benoit's time in WCW, before it was closing, before he jumped ship with Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko and Perry Saturn, that Shane Douglas was supposed to go with him. I never knew this. But WWE didn't want him, so they kind of all went without him. That sucks. Another thing from the time in WCW was when the character of Seven was introduced, and creepy, white-faced. It was Dustin Rhodes doing a weird gimmick. Google it. That's all I'm gonna say. But the author confused Dusty Rhodes with Dustin Rhodes, so he said that Dusty Rhodes was doing I believe the words were child molester gimmick. I could be mistaken. Let me go to the book. It's right here. So, page 250. For example, Russo's idea for the $850,000 a year ex-WWE star Dusty Rhodes was a character with an ambiguous taste for child molestation. Russo filmed expensive mini-films of a costumed Rhodes apparently stalking children and instructed the production crew to conceive of an elaborate, expensive entrance, as if Rhodes were the Louis XIV of child rapists. Yeah, that was Dustin Rhodes, or Dustin Runnels, not the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So, just yeah, fine, easy to confuse the two. Dusty, Dustin, fine, whatever. See, that's small. Other thing that stuck out later on page 213. Author's note. I'll just read from my notes. I have intentionally avoided discussing the details of Martina and Benoit's marriage, because there is nothing to be gained by violating the privacy of Martina and her fatherless children, which I respect. However, on page 196, quote, Pillman impregnated and married a crackhead prone to disappearing in the ghettos of Cincinnati. Yeah, there's that. Okay. I mean, you don't want to talk bad about one person. Nothing to gain by talking bad about her. Then you did it here. Okay, fine. Whatever. Yeah, I can ignore that stuff. It's just kind of stuck in my brain. So, as far as the book goes, I recommend reading it. I always wanted more details as far as what happened with Benoit, and the book gives a real detailed history of his life. Really, it's everything that led up to what happened. His entire career led to what happened, and not just in the ring stuff, but it was stuff outside the ring, from his concussion, multiple concussions. How the guy was walking around is unbelievable, and I don't know. I'm gonna stop rambling. Read the book yourself. Ring of Hell: The Story of Chris Benoit and the Fall of the Pro Wrestling Industry, and get your own opinion on it. If you like what I had to say, like my video, still like the video. Hit like, subscribe, and check us out on Facebook, Pro Wrestling Fans Podcast. That's facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Fans Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at PWF Podcast, and give me your opinions. I'd love to hear your opinions if you've also read the book. Anything you have read that you think I would like to read. I've read these and Foley's books, and I've got a couple others upstairs. I've got Ric Flair's To Be the Man, still haven't cracked it open. Stone Cold Steve Austin's autobiography, quote unquote. A couple others. Yeah, thanks for your time, and keep calm and be a pro wrestling fan.